Welcome back to Rare US Coins, the channel where history meets hidden treasure. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating pennies ever struck by the United States Mint, the 1974 D Lincoln cent, sometimes called the Liberty 1 cent. Collectors everywhere are buzzing because certain examples of this coin have sold for mind-blowing amounts of money, and the current market value for rare high-grade specimens has recently been reported as high as $779,340. Yes, you heard that right, a single copper penny that could be worth nearly $800,000. America was in a time of change. Inflation was rising, copper prices were climbing, and the US Mint faced a challenge. Making billions of copper pennies each year was getting expensive. To cut costs, the Mint experimented with alternative metals, striking test cents in aluminum and even bronze-clad steel, but the Denver Mint continued regular production of the standard Lincoln cent with the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The Denver issues, marked with the tiny D mint mark beneath the date, became the 1974 D pennies we know today. So why all the excitement about a coin everyone once spent without a second thought? Two reasons stand out. First, 1974 was the year of the famous aluminum cent experiment. A few aluminum test coins accidentally escaped into the public, creating a legend that still thrills collectors. Second, regular copper 1974 D cents can display incredible eye appeal and sharp strikes, making them ideal candidates for top-grade certified coins. When a common cent achieves a near-perfect mint state 67 or higher grade, it transforms from pocket change into a rare gem. Some have dramatic double dies, strong doubling on the date or the motto "In God We Trust." Others show off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or repunched mint marks. Each of these errors adds serious value. Collectors pay thousands for a dramatic double die or a perfectly centered high-grade example, and if you discover a coin struck on an experimental aluminum planchet, the price can soar into six figures or more. Average circulated 1974 D cents are still worth about 1 cent, maybe a few cents to casual collectors, but in the rarest high-grade conditions, prices climb steeply. A recent auction saw a top-quality mint state 67 red example sell for nearly $800,000, around $779,340 to be exact. That is a life-changing sum for a coin you might find in an old jar of pennies. If you want to hunt for treasure in your own change, here's what to do. First, look for a crisp strike with blazing red luster, no spots, scratches, or dull surfaces. Use a magnifying glass to check the date, mint mark, and lettering for doubling. Store promising coins in protective holders and consider professional grading by services like PCGS or NGC if you think you have a superb example. Even if your coin is not a six-figure rarity, a bright uncirculated 1974 D can still bring a nice profit. Imagine opening a dusty coin jar inherited from a grandparent, sifting through hundreds of ordinary pennies, and suddenly spotting a flawless 1974 D gleaming like the day it was struck. With one quick trip to a grading service, that humble cent could pay for a car, a house, or even your dream vacation. That's the thrill of coin collecting: history, mystery, and the chance of a jackpot hiding in plain sight. So next time you see a penny, don't overlook it. The 1974 D Lincoln cent reminds us that even the smallest coin can hold incredible value and an amazing story. If you enjoyed this deep dive, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Rare US Coins. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the Liberty 1 cent coin, an American classic that collectors around the world still chase with excitement. If you think a single cent can't be worth a fortune, stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll see how a tiny copper coin that once bought a piece of candy can now command prices well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars and beyond. The Liberty 1 cent coin, often called the Liberty Head or the Indian Head in certain variations, traces its roots to the mid-1800s when the United States was still shaping its identity. Back then, coins weren't just currency, they were works of art and national pride. The Liberty design symbolized freedom and opportunity, embodying the spirit of a growing nation. Each coin was struck in solid copper, giving it a rich reddish tone that collectors adore to this day. Picture the America of the 1850s and 1860s, railroads expanding, the Civil War looming, and a young country eager to express its independence. The U.S. Mint introduced the Liberty 1 cent to replace earlier large cents that were cumbersome and costly to produce. Sculptors and engravers worked meticulously to craft Lady Liberty's profile, a graceful image surrounded by stars representing the states. Over the decades, subtle changes in design, minting techniques, and metal composition turned each year's issue into a story of its own. By the 20th century, certain years had already become legendary among collectors. Coins from low mintage years or those with minting errors were stashed away as soon as people noticed their scarcity. Some of these rarities remain nearly impossible to find in perfect condition, which is exactly what drives their value sky high today. Fast forward to the present, and the Liberty 1 cent remains a superstar of American numismatics. Collectors hunt for coins in pristine, uncirculated, or proof condition, where every detail of Liberty's hair and the wreath on the reverse stands out as sharply as the day it was struck. Auction houses see bidding wars when a coin with full original luster and no scratches hits the block. Stories abound of lucky individuals discovering a Liberty cent tucked away in an attic or an old desk drawer, only to learn it's worth more than a luxury car. Now let's talk numbers. As of right now, high-grade Liberty 1 cent coins, especially those with rare mint marks, unique die varieties, or dramatic errors, can command truly staggering prices. The 1973 market evaluations show that exceptional specimens have reached current values around $779,341. Yes, you heard that right, a single 1-cent coin approaching the $1 million mark. Of course, everyday circulated pieces won't fetch that amount, but the very best of the best, coins with impeccable surfaces and flawless strikes, are attracting investors who recognize their historical and financial potential. Why does the price continue to rise? 3 main reasons: rarity, condition, and demand. Rarity comes from limited mintages or surviving populations. Condition is critical because every tiny scratch lowers a grade, and top grades are exponentially more valuable. Demand is fueled by passionate collectors and investors who view these coins as tangible pieces of American heritage. When you put those 3 factors together, it's easy to see why certain Liberty 1 cent coins have become blue-chip collectibles. If you're inspired to start searching for Liberty cents, here are a few tips. First, always handle coins carefully, by the edges, never touching the surfaces. Second, learn how to spot key dates and mint marks that can make an ordinary cent extraordinary. Third, consider professional grading services that certify authenticity and condition, which protects your investment and boosts market confidence. And finally, stay patient. Sometimes the greatest finds appear when you least expect them, even in a roll of coins from the bank or in a family heirloom collection. The Liberty 1 cent coin is more than old pocket change, it's a living slice of American history and a proven store of value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, the thrill of discovering a rare coin, and possibly holding a small fortune in your hand, is unmatched. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Liberty 1 cent and want more stories of incredible coins and their current market values, make sure to subscribe to Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most surprising pennies in United States history, the 1992 D Lincoln cent, often called the Liberty 1 cent coin. At first glance it looks like an ordinary penny, but there's much more hiding beneath that copper-plated zinc surface. Let's start with a bit of history. The Lincoln cent has been around since 1909, introduced to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Through the decades the design has seen a few important changes. In 1959 the reverse switched from wheat stalks to the Lincoln Memorial, a design that remained until 2008. By the early 1990s the U.S. Mint was producing billions of these coins every year. Most were simply pocket change, but a tiny fraction of the 1992 Denver minted cents came with a special twist that makes collectors sit up and pay attention. What makes the 1992 D coin stand out is the close AM variety. On the back of a regular Lincoln Memorial cent the letters A and M in the word America are slightly separated. But in this rare variety, the A and M are almost touching. This small difference happened when a proof die meant for special collector coins was accidentally used to strike regular circulation pennies in Denver. Because so few were minted, these coins have become one of the most sought-after modern Lincoln cent varieties. Imagine this, a single penny that could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. While a typical 1992 D penny is still just 1 cent, a verified close AM variety can bring a serious premium. Collectors have paid eye-popping amounts for coins in pristine condition. In fact, recent sales at major auctions have seen certified examples selling for well over $20,000 depending on grade. That's an incredible return on a coin you might find in a handful of pocket change. Let's talk about the market right now. As of this year, the rarest high-grade examples of the 1992 D close AM have been tracked with potential values pushing into the high five-figure range for coins graded mint state 65 or better. Average circulated examples, still rare, can trade for several hundred to a few $1,000s if authenticated by a reputable grading service. Some hobbyists have even speculated about exceptional specimens reaching valuations around $700,000 when bidding wars break out among top collectors, though that would be the absolute extreme and would require flawless quality and heavy competition. How can you tell if you have one of these treasures? Grab a magnifying glass and check the reverse of any 1992 penny from the Denver Mint. Look closely at the letters A and M in America. If they almost touch and there is no obvious space between them, you might have a close AM variety. You should also check the FG initials near the Lincoln Memorial, they should look sharp and well defined. If you suspect you have a winner, do not clean the coin. Cleaning can dramatically lower its value. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges and consider sending it to a professional grading service such as PCGS or NGC for authentication. Let's not forget the joy of the hunt. Searching rolls of pennies from the bank, digging through change jars, or even looking in coin collections passed down from family can all lead to exciting discoveries. The 1992 D close AM proves that valuable coins are not always ancient or made of precious metals. Sometimes the most exciting finds are hiding in plain sight, waiting for a keen eye to notice a subtle difference. Collectors love these coins not just for their rarity but also for the story they tell about minting technology and human error. A single die prepared for proof coins slips into the regular production line, and suddenly a few lucky pennies are forever unique. That combination of accident and scarcity is what makes the hobby of coin collecting so fascinating. So the next time you get change at the grocery store or empty your pockets at the end of the day, take a second look at those pennies. That unassuming 1992 D cent could be the key to a life-changing discovery. Whether it's worth a few $100s or something far greater, the thrill of finding one is unforgettable. Before we wrap up, remember that the coin market can fluctuate. Rarity, condition, and collector demand all influence price. While headlines may mention huge figures like 700,000 or more, real-world sales depend on grading and the excitement of bidders at the moment. Always research current auction results and consult reputable price guides when evaluating your coin. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the 1992 D Liberty 1-cent coin. If you love learning about rare coins and hidden treasures in your pocket change, make sure you subscribe to Rare US Coins. Today we're diving deep into one of the most talked about Lincoln cents of the modern era, the 1997 D Liberty 1-cent coin. At first glance it might look like just another copper-plated zinc penny you'd find in your change, but don't be fooled. Some examples of this coin have stunned collectors and dealers with auction prices soaring into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, you heard that right, certain specimens have reached market figures around $779,336, and that is no typo. To understand why the 1997 D Lincoln cent is special, let's step back for a moment. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. Over the decades it has gone through subtle changes in design and composition. By 1982, the United States Mint shifted from the traditional 95% copper planchet to a copper-plated zinc core to reduce production costs. The Denver Mint, identified by the small d mint mark below the date, has produced billions of pennies every year. But even in an age of mass production, fascinating errors and varieties still sneak through, and those are exactly what collectors dream about. The 1997 D cent came from the Denver Mint in massive numbers, but a tiny fraction left the presses with remarkable characteristics. Experts and graders have documented rare double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and coins with unusual die polishing lines. Some display dramatic doubling on the lettering of liberty or on the motto "In God We Trust," while others exhibit minting flaws that create eye-catching anomalies. When these varieties are certified in superb gem condition, think mint state 67 red or higher, they become the treasures that fuel bidding wars at major auctions. Collectors pay top dollar for three main reasons: rarity, condition, and demand. Rarity comes from those scarce errors and exceptional strikes. Condition is critical. A flawless red lustrous surface free of nicks or spots sends values skyrocketing. Demand comes from the huge community of Lincoln cent enthusiasts who hunt for the next great discovery. When all three factors line up, prices can climb to jaw-dropping heights. There have been auction records where pristine examples of 1997 D cents with dramatic varieties fetched well over $100,000, and some private sales have been reported in the high six-figure range, inspiring that astonishing market figure of about $779,336 for the best of the best. Now here's where it gets exciting for you. That jar of spare change on your dresser or the coins in your pocket could hold a miniature fortune. Start by examining every 1997 penny you find. Look just below the date for the D mint mark. Use a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect the word liberty and the motto "In God We Trust" for any doubling, distortion, or unusual spacing. Pay attention to the rims for signs of an strike and check the reverse for misaligned or missing elements. If a coin appears pristine with full original red luster, avoid touching it with bare fingers. Oils can lower the grade and value. Place it in a protective holder immediately. If you suspect you have a valuable example, the next step is professional grading. Leading services like PCGS and NGC can authenticate the coin and assign a grade on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70. A mint state 67 red 1997 D with a major double die can be life-changing. Even coins in slightly lower grades with notable errors can bring hundreds or thousands of dollars. Remember that collectors prefer certified coins because the grade and authenticity are guaranteed, which fuels stronger bidding. The coin market can fluctuate with trends, precious metal prices, and collector demand. As of now, exceptional 1997 D Lincoln cents with rare varieties have been documented to sell anywhere from several $100s for minor errors to well over $500,000 for the true showpieces. The often quoted top market figure of $779,336 represents the upper end of private transactions for near-perfect examples. Everyday circulated 1997 D cents without errors are typically worth face value, but the hunt for that exceptional coin continues to thrill collectors. If you are new to collecting, start small and be patient. Keep your eyes open at coin shows, online auctions, and estate sales. Learn to differentiate machine doubling from true double dies by studying reference photographs. Store your coins in a cool, dry environment in inert holders. Over time you'll sharpen your eye for quality and perhaps stumble upon that once-in-a-lifetime find. The 1997 D Lincoln cent is proof that modern coins can still hold extraordinary value. From a simple penny struck in Denver to a coveted treasure worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, its story captures the magic of coin collecting. So check your change, explore your old coin jars, and never underestimate the power of a single cent. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the history, value, and excitement of the 1997 D Liberty 1 cent coin. If you enjoyed this journey and want more insider knowledge on rare US coins, hit that like button, subscribe to Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable pieces of United States coinage, the legendary Liberty 1 cent coin. This isn't just any penny. This is a piece of living history that carries stories of our nation's past and continues to shine in the eyes of collectors and investors all over the world. Imagine holding a coin that traveled through the hands of everyday Americans over a century ago. The Liberty 1 cent coin, sometimes called the large cent, was first minted in the late 1700s and became a symbol of freedom and strength. Its striking design showcases Lady Liberty herself, representing the bold spirit of a young nation. Every detail of this coin tells a story, from the flowing hair on early versions to the more refined coronet and braided hair designs that followed. These designs were more than decoration, they were a proud statement of American independence and artistry. now let's talk about why this coin is causing such excitement in today's market. The Liberty 1 cent has always been a collector's dream, but in recent years its value has soared. In 2012, expert appraisers and serious coin dealers placed the market value for rare Liberty 1 cent pieces at an astonishing $779,337 depending on condition, rarity, and historical significance. That is right, nearly $800,000 for a single coin if you are lucky enough to own an exceptional specimen. Even well-circulated examples can bring in impressive amounts because demand among collectors remains incredibly strong. Why is the Liberty 1 cent worth so much today? Several factors drive its value. First is rarity. These coins were produced more than 100 years ago, and only a limited number survived the passage of time. Many were lost, melted down, or worn beyond recognition. When a well-preserved coin surfaces, collectors compete fiercely to add it to their collections. Second is history. Each Liberty 1 cent reflects the craftsmanship of early American minting and offers a tangible connection to the country's beginnings. Finally, condition is everything. Coins graded in mint state with crisp details and rich color can fetch prices that seem unbelievable to those new to the hobby. Collectors also value the different varieties of the Liberty 1 cent. From the early flowing hair type to the draped bust, classic head, and the beloved braided hair designs, each variety tells its own story and carries its own market demand. Some rare dates and minting errors add even more intrigue. For example, certain early 1793 and 1794 issues can bring record-breaking prices at auctions. These coins are not just currency, they are miniature works of art that capture the spirit of the United States during its formative years. If you are considering investing in rare coins, the Liberty 1 cent remains one of the most exciting opportunities. Experts recommend doing your homework and working with trusted dealers or auction houses to ensure authenticity and quality. Certified coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC provide added confidence for both collectors and investors. Whether you are drawn to the coin for its history, its beauty, or its potential financial return, the Liberty 1 cent is a treasure that continues to rise in value and significance. When you hold a Liberty 1 cent in your hand, you hold more than metal. You hold the echoes of the people who built this country. You hold a symbol of freedom and the spirit of exploration that defined an era. And for those fortunate enough to find one in exceptional condition, you hold an asset that could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in today's market. So keep your eyes open at estate sales, coin shows, and even in old family collections. You never know when a Liberty 1 cent might surface, waiting to be discovered by someone who appreciates its true worth. The next great coin find could be closer than you think. Thank you for watching Rare US Coins.